We are a couple of different churches from, around the diocese, and we just got done with Mission Week that we had in this church. So, from what we did in the mission trip was a lot like, at least I thought, a lot like the gospel today. We did something that Jesus himself did. He fed thousands of people. He made a difference. We made a bunch of differences in people's lives, even if it was something as just being able to get outside in the morning, being able to pick up a newspaper, because they weren't able to do that. So here are some of the stories that we would like to share.
Like Jesus in the gospel reading today, a lot of times we had to make do with what we had on hand, and we often didn't have enough during our mission trip. For example, during our very first day at my first work site, we were trying to build a concrete patio so that the boy who lived there could actually get out of his house. And it was difficult to do because we had to first tear up part of the driveway, which was solid concrete. And despite the fact that we had a good amount of tools, pickaxes, hammers, shovels, we didn't have enough of them for 2 groups worth of people. So what some of us did was we got creative. Some people got trowels or garden shovels, and they started pulling out some of the smaller rocks or using the trowels to give leverage so we could break the concrete slabs with the sledgehammers. And in a way, it's very similar to what Jesus had the disciples do. He had the people sit down. He handed out 5 barley loaves and 2 fish to over 5,000 people, and somehow managed to make it work. And we've been doing something very similar.
I'm going to talk about something that really isn't part of the gospel, but was really important to our entire mission group. We all share a very important bond now, because in our groups, we did something that some people really don't do, like they don't want to help. But our groups really went out and did that, and we created something that will never be broken. My group, Matt, Luke, Haley, and Nick. Sorry, Nick, I forgot your name. We were Team Alpha, and we were kind of terrified at first. We all really didn't know each other that well. I know Nick because he goes to my church. I forget his name. And we were all terrified when we were meeting at night on Sunday, which was our first day last week. But on Monday, when we were going to the work site, we all kind of sat with each other and stared around, not really knowing what to say. But as we went through the week, we really worked together, and there was no fighting at all, which I was shocked, actually. No disagreements. Maybe on the first day when we were kind of figuring out the dimensions for 2 hours. Dave. Yes.
Oh, Dave's here.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Well, this is awkward.
But the rest of the week, we really got to know each other. I got to know Haley, who's from New York, and she's just awesome. And I got to know Matt, who I had never really talked to before, and I kind of creeped out by Nick. And Luke, I really got to know, and I found out that he's sad a lot because he's leaving. Just sad. So, but he's really good with the saw, so. And I'm sure with all of the other groups that there was something there that kind of brought you guys really close.
I'd also like to say that besides us helping out other people, they also helped us out. Like, sorry. Like, some people just, they don't have much to give. And we were at a house with a little boy who always runs out into the street. construction worker over that like saved us from digging like 5 feet into cement. Like, and even the family gave us chocolate cookies, even though like we're supposed to be the ones helping them. And most of all, they inspired us with their stories and their attitudes. Thank you.
So, on this mission trip, before I actually came, I had heard a lot of stories about like work, and I was admittedly kind of afraid to come here because I thought, well, not really afraid, but I honestly didn't think I would have much fun. I thought I would be in the sun all day just roasting while I worked on something and no one really talked to each other. We all just worked, but which pretty much as in summarizes the first day. But in all reality, by the end of the week, I was honestly changed, and this is definitely one of the best experiences I've ever had in my entire life.
I would like to agree with Nick about this being my first mission trip as well. For me, this has been a very hard year. I went to Chardon High School, was a freshman there, and this was a very, very hard year for me, just trying to get over the fact about what happened there. And this mission trip was pretty much, it was the pick-me-up. It was the pinch while I was asleep to wake me up, to get me back to reality. And it helped me out to figure out that, other people also need help. And, it helped me get through it to be able to help them, if that makes sense. So, really, I've heard throughout this whole mission trip, try to walk in Jesus' footsteps. And as we heard from the gospel today, I think that we did that very well.